All right, guys, back here with a video, and I wanted to make this video because there's always a lot of guys who just are just super nervous and really have a hard time with approaching. And I just wanted to make this kind of like an approach video for beginners. And I know a lot of you guys complain about me talking too much, but I have to explain these things so you have a better understanding. But without a lot said, let's get into the video. So the biggest problem is with a lot of guys, they'll see a girl. And I know there's a lot of guys because I know most men don't approach. And even me, myself, I have to be in the space mentally. Like, I have to be in a space mentally to approach. Like, I do a lot of warm up mentally, or just a lot of warm up in general. And we'll get into what warming up means in the video. But I know I have to be in a space mentally. Like, I just have to be in the mood. I have to be with my guys, or it just has to be a girl that's just like a showstopper. That's like, no, I need to talk to her just so I sleep good at night. It's like, you know, one of those things, if I don't do it, I'm going to beat myself up type of thing. So I have to be in a space mentally to talk to a girl. And I know a lot of guys will see a girl that looks good and they'll let this girl pass them and they won't say anything. And their whole day will just be ruined because they let that girl pass them. Now, step one, what you got to realize is you're your worst enemy. So the first step is to understand that you are fighting yourself, because a lot of guys, they get this approach anxiety. They overthink it. They panic. They say, oh man, like, should I approach this girl? Should I not? What should I do? And they start to overthink it. So first, you yourself, you need to master your emotions. You need to stay calm, cool, and relaxed. And you need to think, not overthink, but just, you know, get out of your own way, right? You got to get out of your own way and not allow yourself to panic. There's another technique for that, but just go, you know, just go. You see the girl and just go, you know. Step number two, you got to get out of the house and, well, still step one, step two, somewhere in between. You got to get out of the house and go someplace where girls are. And don't ask me, oh, where do I go, KB? There's girls everywhere, right? You go to the mall. If you live in New York, they're walking all over the city. Go to Manhattan, anywhere, you know, just about anywhere where girls are, you can go. Now, step number two. Now, this may be the hardest, but what you need to do is find a female, walk up to her, and just say anything. Say anything. Now, remember, you can walk up to a girl and say anything. You can always walk away. You can go up to a girl and say just about anything. Now, you need to understand, this is just warm-ups. You don't have to necessarily be into the girl, and you don't necessarily have to have success. It doesn't need to go well. You don't need to get her number. You don't need to make out with her. You don't need to be outcome dependent. Just go up to the girl and say, this is for beginners. You got to understand, anything you do, you're going to get better at. So this is something that you're going to get better at. So as you get better and time goes on, you're going to get better at this and you're going to see yourself having more success, right? So just go up to a girl and say just about anything, right? Now, what are some of the things that you're going to say? What are some what I call openers? What are some openers that you can say? Well, you can say, hey, I love that shirt. That's a nice shirt. Where'd you get it from? Or, oh, that's a really nice bag. I got my mom that same bag. Where'd you get yours from? Or I was thinking about getting my mom that bag. Oh, hey, quick question. Do you know where Taco Bell is at? Or do you know where Starbucks is at? Oh, hey, I noticed you have a Starbucks cup. Where's Starbucks around here? Oh, it's right down the block, right? Or you can ask for opinion. Hey, quick question. Do you think this shirt is ugly? Or not even, do you think, what do you think about this whole thing going on with Ukraine? Because this shit has really got my anxiety all crazy. And honestly, I'm not going if they draft me. I'm not going. So I don't know what the fuck and now, you know, there's women in the military. This ain't the last World War. So are you concerned about being drafted? Like, just about anything. And that's just step two. And what you can assume and hope for, that the conversation goes well and you can spark a conversation from there, right? You can easily spark a conversation from there. And remember, if you walk up to her and you forget what to say, you can always walk away. If she doesn't, if she's not receptive to what you're saying, she has an attitude, you can always just remember, you can walk away. If you say something like, hey, I love that shirt. That's a beautiful shirt. Oh, thank you. And you walk away, right? You can always do that. You can always do that. And this is something I do. When I say mentally, when I start talking to girls, I need to be in a mental space. So what I'll do is I'll just start walking up to people and just start talking to them. And I'll just start, even if it's a compliment. Now, I'm not necessarily like, I don't want to confuse too much, guys. So I'm not going to say too much about other stuff, too much advanced stuff. But when I warm up, I just walk up to people and say anything. And at that point, it doesn't matter because I'm warming up. It doesn't mean it. If it's a guy, like, hey, that's a really nice jacket. Where'd you get that jacket from? And, you know, no homo. I don't want the guy to think I'm gay or anything because I'm not. But I just walk up to people and I start warming up, because why? I'm getting into this rhythm and getting into this pattern, and I'm getting into this space where I'm warming up and I'm just talking to people and I'm getting to this habit. I'm not outcome dependent, because if you go up to a girl and you walk up to her and talk to her and you're not dependent on outcome, you're not thinking about outcome, you just have a regular conversation with this girl without thinking of having an outcome of getting her number or getting to know her or getting to fuck her, right? And you've been talking to other people and you've just been talking to people randomly. Now your mind and your body is like, oh, we're just another person we're talking to. Now you're calm and relaxed. The only time guys really get nervous is when you go up to a girl and you depending on this outcome. Oh man, I hope I get it. I gotta get it. Damn, she's so fine. And you get nervous because she's beautiful or whatever the case may be. So what I do is I warm up to people and I just talk to them. Even if it's a girl, like, hey, damn, that was really nice. You were wearing those pants. Don't look at me like that. Like, what? The girls be like, what? Or, you know, just, oh, hey, do you know where so-and-so is at? Oh, thank you. Honestly, I'm really bad with directions. Can you just, like, if you can walk me in, if you're not too busy, can you just, like, walk me in that direction, right? I have an excuse to talk to her while I'm walking, right? But that's how I warm up. But that's step 2. Just walk up to somebody and just say anything. And and when you're not dependent on an outcome, a conversation can start from anything. So step 2, walk up to somebody and say anything. And you can use one of the openers that I gave you, or you can use your own opener and be creative. Now, step number 3, what I want you to do is add in a compliment. So as you're opening somebody, right, you add in a compliment. For example, so like, let's say if you ask a girl, oh, hey, where'd you get that shirt from? Or where'd you get that sundress from? That sundress looks really great on you. It's really, the sundress looks really nice on you. Or you can be like, hey, those are really interesting glasses. Where'd you get those fisherman glasses? That's a really good look. I approve of that look. And when you say I approve of that look, that's not so much validation. It is a bit, but it's not, oh, you're so beautiful. Even though you can, if you're just warming up for beginners, and that does work sometimes, right? You can say, oh, you know, that's a really interesting jacket. Where'd you get the jacket from? Oh, that's a really nice jacket. So you're adding on with just the compliment, right? So you're, whatever the opener is, or you can say, even if it's like directions. Oh, hey, do you know where Starbucks is? Oh, so up the block, down the corner, and then it's going to be at 5th Street. Okay, thank you so much. You're really great at giving directions, because I asked the last guy. Or you could just say, you know what, you're really great at giving directions. Thank you so much, right? Thank you. And what you want to do after step 2 of opening and then having an opener, what you want to do is layer that. So you're layering, right? You find a girl, you open her up, say anything, and then after the opener, you layer that with a compliment based off the opener, right? So you're like, oh wow, thanks. You're really great at giving directions, right? Now, each step you want it should become easier. It should become easier, then move into the next step. Now remember, if you ever get nervous and if you want to end it right there, you can say, you know what, thank you, and you could just always walk away. You're not forced. You're not forced to do it. You're not forced to say it. You're not forced to you know, it's beginners. It's step by step by step. Even if you go out one day and you do one step and you just walk up to a girl and you say, oh, that's a really nice shirt. Or I just want to come tell you you're beautiful, right? And sometimes guys might do it. I tell guys, some of my coaching clients, I tell guys to do this, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I said it and tried to walk away. And she was like, wow, why are you leaving? Talk to me. And then the girl wants to talk, right? So you can do that. But remember, do each step until it becomes easier and easier. And then you move on to the next step, right? This is a very easy process, right? And now, if it becomes hard for you, remember, you can always walk away. Now, after you give the compliment, after that, introduce yourself. So let's run it down. You walk up to a girl, hey, how you doing? Quick question. I just wanted to know, do you know where Starbucks is at? Oh, it's up the block around the corner, right off on the corner of 5th Street and, America Ave, or whatever it is, right? You'd be like, oh, okay, thank you so much. You're really great at giving directions. That's a nice shirt, by the way, right? I'm like, oh, okay. And then, oh, by the way, my name is KB. What's your name? Step 4, I want you to introduce yourself, right? Introduce yourself. Now, you could always come with an approach and say, oh, hi, my name is KB, but what I'm telling you to do is more of an indirect approach, right? It's not really direct. And from my experiences, the indirect always works well, right? Because you're not necessarily making things so awkward from the jump. And when people usually introduce themselves, they're either trying to sell you something, which ultimately you're probably going to sell yourself if you go like that, or that girl, you're trying to just get that girl's number, and the guard is up kind of high, so it kind of lowers the guard a little bit. And when the whole point of giving a compliment before you introduce yourself is a layer of interest, right? You're showing some type of interest. Girls know that if a girl walks up to you and says, oh, that's a really nice jacket, I like your shoes. Girls don't give a fuck about your shoes. They don't. And some may, they just may, but when girls usually do that, unless she's a full-blown dyke, and you can't even count dykes out, because there was some pretty dykes that got slain by myself, but usually when a girl does that, it's a compliment, and they're showing that's an indicator of interest, right? Maybe not be high interest, but it's an indicator of interest. At least she's interested in how you're dressing. So you add on a compliment. Now, at this point, full-blown approach. You just did a full-blown approach. Very easy steps, very easy to break down. You just did a full-blown approach at this point. Full-blown approach, very easy. Very easy, right? So, but I want to take it one step further. Now, after that, I want you to introduce a conversation topic, right? And carry this conversation for about 10 to 30 seconds. Now, remember, if you get nervous, remember, you can always walk away. You can always walk away and then save that step for next time. You can always walk away and save that step for next time. Now, you introduce a conversation topic, because when a charming man comes up to you, he's leading the conversation. A lot of men expect the woman to lead the conversation, especially men with no game. And they expect the woman to lead the conversation. And when they do that, they're like kind of expecting the girl to say something like, oh yeah, hey, so yeah, what's up? You can't expect the woman to lead the conversation. Lead the conversation. A charming person can come and talk to you. And remember, the more you do this, the easier it gets, right? The easier it gets. And all you have to do is hold that conversation for 30 or 40 seconds. And if she's not receptive, that's okay. That's okay. Just walk away and don't beat yourself up. And if she is, you can easily carry on a conversation. If you made it to step 5, it's so easy, right? And there's a lot more things I want you guys to do, but you can look at the approach series for that. But this is a very basic introduction, basic manual to approaching girls. Now, one thing I want to mention is, remember, this kind of approach is different from people you see on a regular basis. This is an approach for strangers in public, people you don't know, people that you may not necessarily see again, or people you may not necessarily see on a regular basis. This is not the same kind of approach you want to do with a coworker, somebody at the gym. You can do it at the gym, but if you were to be unsuccessful, especially as a beginner, in approaching girls, that can backfire. Things can be awkward the next time you see that girl, and you just don't want things to be weird, right? So this is the kind of approach that you would do for cold approach, approaching strangers, approaching people in public. Not people at school, not people at the gym, not people at work. That's a different type of game. Now, that's just a totally different indirect type of game, and I would suggest disqualifying yourself on a different level. So this applies to strangers, right? Now, one side note that I have to give you guys is this is not just theory. Don't just say, "Oh, that's really good to know. I'll keep it in my head." No, this is a video. You get your ass up off the couch, you get your ass out of your bed, and you take action. Fucking cat is in there. Layla, leave my jacket alone. Get down. Goddamn cat. Sorry, guys. Now this is very basic, and I would do this when I was young. I would just always go up to girls and talk to them. I would always go up to girls, like I didn't give a fuck. Like I would just go up to girls and talk to them, and as I learned a little more, I was able to break it down, and I'm able to break it down. And as of recently, I've been taking coaching from some guys who've been doing this for about 20 years, right? Old heads, PUA guys, right? But now I'm able to make sense of it a little more, and but you have to get out and you have to take action. This is not something you just sit there and watch. So the next time you go to the mall, you hang out with your friends, you see a girl, go up to her and talk to her. You have nothing to lose, and don't be outcome dependent. All right? Approaching for beginners.